Good thing with seeing Hustlers, you get to see Jennifer Lopez strip. Bad thing about Hustlers, you have to see Jennifer Lopez act. Welcome back, Midnight Society. It's your boy, the Movie Nerd, with the movie review, Hustlers. So the movie Hustlers is starring Constance Wu and Jennifer Lopez. It's also kind of starring Julia Stiles. You have some guest appearances from Lizzo, Cardi B, Keke Palmer, and there's another special guest in there that I don't really want to talk about. You can watch the movie and see it. If not, just comment down below if you want to see it. Going into the movie, I had zero expectations. I saw the trailer. I thought it looked pretty good. Didn't think it'd be too bad. But when it comes to Jennifer Lopez's acting, I'm a little iffy when it comes to it, but she actually did surprisingly good in this movie. The movie's based on a true story, so you know how that goes. Some of it might be true, some of it might be made up, but it is based off an article written by Jessica Pressler for New York Magazine. And I like that about this movie. It's kind of narrated from the main character's point of view, so it's like you're actually getting a true story. Like we said, some of it might be fake, but it feels like it's true in that sense. The movie starts off pretty well. You see Constance Wu, her first days working as a dancer in this club, not really getting along with a lot of the dancers and not getting a lot of clientele, so she feels pretty much outcasted. You don't really get too much of her backstory. You know that she's taking care of her grandma and she's trying to make ends meet. Enter Jennifer Lopez. The entrance scene for Jennifer Lopez was done really well. It wasn't her forte of dancing, and even though she's a dancer, pretty sure pole dancing is not her expertise, but she executed pretty well. And when you get to the first scene where her and Constance Wu interacting with each other, you can see that she's not here just to dance. She's actually here to act. And that's what surprised me about this film. If you told me Jennifer Lopez is in the movie, I'm not really thinking that great of acting. But in this movie, she actually did pretty well. It took a little while for me to get in the groove of liking her in this movie. But by the time I got to the middle act and on so, I thought she did a great job and she was killing it. And from the start, you can tell the type of relationship that Constance Wu and Jennifer Lopez are going to have in this movie. They have that mother and daughter relationship. And I feel like that was pretty much the root of this movie, more so than them actually hustling Wall Street men out of their money. One thing that I do want to point out is that the soundtrack, not the film score, is on point. There was one scene where I Get Money by 50 Cent came on, and I was like, yep, this movie set the stage right here. You knew that this was going to be a defining point in the movie, and it kind of set the stage for the rest of it. The movie's taking place between 2007 and 2014. 2014 is when Wu's character was actually interviewed by Jessica Pressler for the article. 2015 is when the article actually came out. And the movie bounces back between her getting interviewed and the actual events that occurred. So they use it as chapters, so you'll see it say 2007, 2008, and it'll jump to 2014, and she's actually speaking on what's going on. One of the things I wish this movie did more was actually kind of expound on the characters' lives. You see these girls that are working in the dance club, they get to know each other. You see Constance Wu and Jennifer Lopez interact and how their friendship and their relationship and the bonding experience happens, but you really don't see what happens outside of that. We see Wu, who has a boyfriend and then eventually has a kid. Give me a second real quick. Yeah, that's what I thought. There's actually 2 special guest appearances in this movie. I won't tell you who it is. If you watch it, you see it. If not, I'll tell you later. I will say the first 10 to 15 minutes of this movie was real entertaining. It got pretty bland in between that. When the dancers start hustling the Wall Street, man, it revs up just a little bit, but then the scenes started getting repetitive. I feel like at that moment, they could have showed it maybe once or twice how they were scheming the men, and then kind of gone into some of the backstory or got more in depth of the actual characters. I think they threw some scenes in there to make the movie less flat, try to make the characters more dynamic. There's one holiday scene in there that happened, and halfway through it, I actually forgot what movie I was watching or what was going on in the movie at all. It was so bad that I looked to my left and one guy was sleeping, and the guy on my right, he just kept going, I was like, okay, at least I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. The intention of that scene made sense. I like the interaction with the ladies and the grandma. I kind of build this relationship and family of them. I just think it could have ended earlier. But once the movie started moving to the back end, it got my attention again and I was hooked for the rest of the movie. This is also when I feel Jennifer Lopez shined the most. She actually outshined Constance Wu in this movie. I feel like Constance Wu did a pretty decent job, but Jennifer Lopez, as the movie went on, she got better and better, and you can see the dynamic and the range of her acting. And I wish I could see this Jennifer Lopez more in other movies, or maybe movies that are gonna come out. Julia Stiles didn't do bad or good in this movie. She was just a journalist, but the entire time I watched her, all I could think of was Save the Last Dance, and I just wanted to go. And I actually drifted off for about 2 minutes wondering, well, if they came out with a Save the Last Dance sequel. I wonder if anyone would actually go see it. I would. The movie all in all was pretty decent. I really like Jennifer Lopez. Didn't think I'd actually say this. I actually really like Jennifer Lopez acting in this film. Perhaps if Jennifer Lopez wasn't in this movie, I'd actually give it a lower score because she was probably the best part of this film. If you're going to see this film because you think that Lizzo or Cardi B have a huge role in this film, they don't. Cardi B probably has more screen time than Lizzo. The screen time that Lizzo has and what she's wearing, she's a dancer. I'll leave it to your imagination. I didn't really want to see it. Hey, that's no offense against Lizzo or big girls. I like big girls. I just didn't want to see Lizzo in what she was wearing. All in all, I rate this movie a 1 and done. I've seen it, no need to see it again. So hustlers, let me know what you think if you saw it, if you plan on going to see it, or if you don't plan on going to see it. And as always, like, comment, and subscribe if you like what you saw here. You see that? It popped up this time. I did this on the last review and I edited wrong. It didn't pop up. Oh well. And as always, this is submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society.